I have another fretboard session for you today, and we're going to continue upon the ideas presented last week, in which I showed you how to move notes and essential octave shapes that you needed to learn. In this session, we're going to take those octave shapes and link them up, and I'm going to show you how you can effortlessly find every instance of any particular note right across the entire fretboard. This is obviously going to be huge for your fretboard navigation and memorization, but it also serves as an introduction to the CAGED systems. If this is something you've been keen to get started with, then you're really going to enjoy this lesson. PDF charts of the ideas presented will be available to members of my Patreon group. You can find out more about that with a link down below or in the video cards. So let's zoom in and break this down. Just an overview from last time. When I think about octave shapes, I do so with the chords in which we find them. So the first octave is coming off string 6. Let's take the open E string. So the octaves were found within the open E chord. I'm thinking the octaves of the different roots, the different instances of the root note. So we have a 6/4 linking to a 4/1 in this triangular formation found within the open E or E minor chord, and those octave shapes will go anywhere on the fretboard, as we shall see in just a moment. That's the E-shaped octave in that triangle formation. There is another triangle formation, but with a tip pointing towards the headstock found within the open G chord. So we have once again the 6/1, 2 octaves between those two root notes, and then we have a root on the open string number 3, just right there. So a 6/3, 3/1, 6/1, G-shaped octaves. From string 5, again, two possibilities. We had the A shape, which is when we have the 5/3 octave, those two roots between strings 5 and 3. Or we had the C shape, which was a 5/2 octave, those two C notes on strings 5 and 2. From string 4, the main one to consider is known as the D shape, so found within the open D chord, those two root notes just right there, a 4/2 octave. The 4/1 octave we said was found within the open E chord. And there's going to be from string 3 just that one octave to consider, which we saw within the G shape. So that 3/1 octave is G shape. If that was a bit too quick for you there, then do go and check out the previous lesson with the link in the cards. So how do these octaves link up? Well, the key is in the name CAGED, the order in which these octave shapes will link up the fretboard. Let's take an example note, and on the fretboard we'll put all of the instances of the C note. Now as you look at that, it's potentially a little daunting, but check this out, this is really quite easy. The word CAGED, that's the key thing, okay? So the first octave shape, the first C notes we find on string 2 and string 5 makes sense because they're in the open C chord. But taking CAGED, after C comes the letter A. Okay, so the 5/3 octave, there's my A-shaped octave. Then I move up to the note on string number 3, and then I am in thinking CAGED G within the G shape. So that's my 3/1 and the 6/1, that link up there, that is the G shape. Then CAGED, I'm on string number 6 with finger 1, and I'm thinking E shape. So there are the E shape octaves, that triangular formation pointing towards the body. If I move up to the highest note there, I'm on string number 4, and then CAGED. I have the D, okay, the D shape octave, the 4/2. So at this point I've completed the word CAGED, but there is more fretboard to cover. Well, the thing with CAGED is that it is cyclical. This is a cycle that will just continue just as you climb up the neck. So after D, we cycle back round to C, and then we will see again another C shape. After that would be A shape. Then the G shape octaves, and then the E shape, and then I'm out of fretboard. But that is all of the C notes. Once again, C shape, A shape, G shape, E shape, D shape, C shape, A, G, E. But what if C is not the starting shape? It's not a problem. All we need to do is do our CAGED cycle, as I call it, but we start from the lowest octave shape. Let's see that with another note. Let's try F this time. The open F chord you may know as an E-shaped chord. So the E octaves is our starting point. We have Fs on strings 1 and then 6 and to 4. Thinking CAGED, if we start at E, our next shape will be D. Right, 4-2. Then at D we cycle back round to C. We're a C shape, 2-5. Then we have the A shape, 5-3. Then we are at the G shape, 3-1, 1-6. With that, we're back at our starting point, 1 octave higher, 12 frets up, fret 13, and we are once again at the E shape. So from 4, we're at D shape. And then C shape, and then A shape. And that's all of the F notes. So this is a great first exercise to be linking these together. You start with any note at all, find the lowest instance of that note, i.e. closest to the nut, establish on which string that is, and then which will be your starting shape, and then work through the CAGED cycle, linking up those octaves. Now, of course, you may not have the luxury of starting from the open strings, and so you should also think about starting these octave shapes in the middle or at the upper end of the fretboard, going higher or even lower. So taking a note at random, just right there, didn't look, promise. That is the note of A flat or G sharp. Now, if I'm on string number 4, then I'm thinking, okay, 2 possibilities. I'm back here within the E shape, or then I have the D shape. D to C, C to A to G, etc. So that would be exercise 2, choosing a note mid-neck, establishing which string you are then on and which shapes are immediately available to you, and see if you can go higher or indeed lower. So CAGED as a term is the way you can memorize this sequence. As we saw, the C shape is not always the lowest note, and so this could have been called the c.a.g.e.d system, or the c.a.g.e.d system, or the, can I do it, c.a.g.e.d system, but obviously that doesn't make quite as much sense. So the fact that it works and CAGED is a word is the reason why it is named as such. So there you are, that is how the CAGED system essentially works. It is these linking up of these different shapes, and upon those you can put so much more. A thank you to my Patreon group members for your continued support. You too can help support the channel and get exclusive bonuses for as little as $3 per month by joining the group. You can find out more about that with the link again down below or in the video cards. And if this has whet your appetite for more on the CAGED system, I highly recommend you check out either my ebook, CAGED Clarity, or my latest course release, Guitar Blueprint, which is my complete guide to fretboard fluency. You can find out more about those and get your free copy of my ebook, Fretboard Mastery, with the link again in the video description or in the cards. And as always, please don't forget, if you did enjoy the lesson, please give it a thumbs up and do subscribe if this is your first time here, remembering as you do so to hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future lessons. Thank you very much, you practice well, and I'll see you next time.